No Berlin story today, I promise. I was actually, I'm sorry, what was that? I'm amused because I'm standing up here and I want to walk up and say, hi, my name is Dave and I'm a geek. And, hi, Dave. Thank you. Because, usually it's like me up here with like, a rock t-shirt or something, but this weekend they had an anime convention. And so now I'm sporting my Fruity Cootie t-shirt and I'm being, kind of working that whole thing. If you're not familiar, check it out. If you have Netflix, trust me, it's worth it. It is a definite case of insanity in animation. Anyway, where the hell was I? Oh yeah, we're introing a show. Okay, welcome to the November No-Brainer of Spoken Word. We have a number of people up here, a couple of whom are going to be doing really their first official sets as samurai here. We have the wonderful Sam, whose last name I can never pronounce properly. Do it.
Shruggy.
Thank you, Shruggy. I'll keep practicing. You see me wandering around, Shruggy. And he's got a stick, so apparently if I go Shruggy, he'll like whack me with it or something. And then we have, her name is Jessica, but we already have another Jessica, so she has, if you'll forgive me, seniority. You just had your fucking wig, for fuck's sake, so you get the seniority thing.
Okay.
Yeah. So I have a tendency to refer to her as Taryn just so that way we don't wind up with a whole lot of confusion and chaos. Okay, so that way we don't wind up with more confusion, chaos, and destruction. She's another one that every now and again I think I'm going to work up the guts. I'm going to actually write some poetry. And then like Allison came along and I went, no, I'm not. And then Allison took a break. I'm like, okay, I'm going to work up some guts. I'm going to do some poetry. All right, I'm going to really write this stuff out. Rocco shows up. No, I'm not. And then I was kind of working up the guts after watching Rocco do a set one time to write down some poetry. And then this little firecracker showed up and went, no, I'm not. So you're kind of stuck with me telling stories a little bit later on this evening. Enjoy. Okay, I am a fool because I forgot something. Hey, Noah, could you do me a favor? After you're done setting down all of the various drinks, could you walk over to the bar and ask them for a pitcher? Just a pitcher, so that way we can have a contribution point. In case you missed it, these shows are free, but we do actually ask for donations. Despite what you might be thinking, they do not wind up in our beer fund, much as I'm tempted sometimes. But in this case, we're taking donations for the American Red Cross because with all the stuff that's going on the East Coast right now, those guys are pushed to about the limit and a little bit more. So once you've had the opportunity to have something to eat and to have something to drink, if you've got a couple of bucks left over, hell, if you've got some change left over, there will be a pitcher on that little tiny table over there. And if you could just throw whatever it is that you got into that, we would really appreciate it. And I'm sure the people at the Red Cross would appreciate it too. And so with that, what other things do I have to promote and or pimp lately? We have this show, and then on the 26th, we're going to have a spotlight show. That will feature two of our performers as opposed to the usual menagerie that we throw up here. In this case, it'll be Sam, what was that again?
Shruggy.
Thank you. Sam Shruggy and Marlo Mapes, who just left because I ran her away. And they'll both be performing long sets, so if you enjoy what you saw this evening, come on down. And that will be on the 26th at about 8 o'clock. And for those of you who are interested, there's an open mic at 7, where at one point in time, that's where we met that young lady over there and said, no, you should come up on stage with us, it'll be awesome. And she said, you're big and scary, go away. Thank you. Yes, that one right there. Oh, look, it's Mikey. Everybody say hi, Mikey.
Hi! Got a picture and Mikey.
Wow, you're magic. I've known that for a while, but I'm waiting to see, if you're going to try to top last Valentine's Day, wait for Valentine's Day.
Please let us sign a disclaimer.
Yeah. I just kind of picture everybody with like welding mask glasses on. For those of you who are not familiar, trust me, I will tell that story when I get up on stage. Yeah. Sam will just be seeing what I'm going to have to do is turn my head that much. Don't have to watch. Have a nice day. I enjoy the opportunity to work with Sam, first of all, because he's great and he's brilliant, and I love his material, but also because of the fact that he is blind, and he really makes it easy for me to be comfortable with that. Because no matter what horribly intense, brutal shit I could make up about somebody being blind, he topped it 3 seconds ago, and I couldn't go there if I tried, so, and you will see him in a bit. So we have the November Spotlight show coming up. We have another show coming up December 10th here. I'm going to do a little personal pimping for those of you who are on the Samurai Spoken Word Facebook page. In about a week or so, I'm going to be throwing up the fact that I've got an Indiegogo campaign coming up for a film that I'm attempting to put together. So, if you see it and you happen to like the idea of Dave Nesbitt doing a H.P. Lovecraft-inspired horror film web series, please donate. If you don't have any money, then just spread it around. If you're not particularly impressed with it, well, then keep that comment to yourself and I'll salvage my ego. So, our first contestant for the evening. Not officially a samurai as of yet, but this is really his first appearance with us, although he and I have known each other for fucking forever. Yeah, about a decade, I think. Yeah, it's odd how time gets away from you. It's also how your scale of time tends to get a little stranger as you get older and older. Yeah. Yeah, I like the fact I can stand up here and talk about getting older and older, and Tom and Stephanie are like, so what are we going to throw at him this time? And so he's, well, I'll let him explain for himself, or explain himself, but he is Chris O'Neill.
Hi. I heard this was spoken word.
Yeah.
I don't follow rules too well. I'm going to sing. I don't know how many people are familiar with the works of Neil Gaiman. Can I see a show of hands? I have noticed within the continuity of this existence currently in my life that there is a particular scene from his work where delight becomes delirium. That is particularly poignant, I think, in these times. There's something about, there's these little moments, you know, and you can notice it in your social media, you can notice it in life, but there's these images, and you see them and you either go, ah, or you go, I never want to try to wrap my head around that, right? There's either the mystery after the mystery after the mystery, or there is something that just absolutely just nourishes your soul. One keeps you going for a quest for understanding, like Einstein at the end of his career, he's trying to find a mathematical explanation for oneness, the universal solvent. He spent a huge amount of his time at the end of his life trying to find the physics behind that oneness. And he got caught up in delirium. And I think that that's been going with us as well. You can see it in our news programs and how we represent things to each other. You can see it, that delight doesn't seem to be broadcasted enough. This is a little bit of it's his words. They were randomly put out on the comic book page, not necessarily knowing which words went with which frame, and I put it together. A woman stands with doves on her shoulders, doves are scorpions. The woman is a small pool of ice cream, melting on a sidewalk on a hot summer's day. 10 days without sleep, lurches and bubbles towards him, through him and away. Seduction mediocre wasn't good enough. Seduction mediocre wasn't good. And then came the hospital, which brings with it beds and surgeons and saline drips, and you'd say forever underneath the caresses of my fingertips. The alien is an alien. The alley is a place where the babies die. The princess is a dance most unusual. Put the gun in your mouth. 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 So, there was a, oh thanks. There was a little spoken word at the end there, so I hope that counts. So basically what that transition, this is like mid-90s, right? And he was looking at what divides us, what brings us together, and how these issues that we have in our lives that we mutually share, right? The cognitive dissonance that, buzzword, that happens, because of when your morality doesn't line up for yourself, right? So I think that's really one of the aspects of what delirium really is when you have this belief here and this belief here, and the two are mutually exclusive, and then your subconscious says, F that, right? And we all suffer from it in one degree to another, in various levels, as far as I've been able to notice. But that delight, it should be easier for most of the people that I've met to be able to find that. But for some reason, we don't let that be standard operating procedure, and that's funny to me. So I was sitting at home, and I was watching this on YouTube, and it was really funny to me, and I got to know a lot of you through that medium, because I'm, way over there. And I was sitting there and I was staring at the screen, and it said, say something, right there on the little box. And I was inspired to say something as I was watching you guys do your thing. Say something. Okay. Something equals X. Being part of the X generation, this makes me squee. And as the market shows you, you buy more when you're afraid, so that won't be tolerated, so let's X that out. On to the bitter news then. If you don't buy X, you and your family and your way of life will be eradicated by the dialects. By what? Let me get X straight here. If I don't buy X, then my whole existence will be exterminated? Well, if you don't stand for X, yes, you and your entire existence will be exterminated. So, since standing for X means I'm against X, won't that put me in conflict with them anyway? Yes. Unless you really look like X and make X of yourself. So, the machines that kill me and my family care about my sense of dignity and fashion sense, but need me to be scared to make money. Do I have at least that straight here? Well, not to put X past you, but until you're over X and pull on X, you're going to take a lot of X. Does anyone else feel like there's a lot of variables involved in this equation? Yeah, just a couple. Okay. Good. It's not just me. I wish X would come along and narrow some of these variables for me. Well, that's the issue, really. X did. And you're part of the variable generation. So you know, X marks the spot. So, now at least, I know X been solved for. One last question. How is X different than anything? Well, anything equals Y. So, X divided by Y is an algorithm that can feed off two generations to kill the potential and fuel the other side of a fractal equation? Yes. And you can't do why about it. I originally wrote that piece for Alan Wigg. I was trying to write pieces for people to pull off some shindig that didn't happen, but you know, oh well. You'll have to excuse me, I'm going to change a little tone here.
Breaking the fourth.
Excuse me. I didn't realize I ate that much pizza. Wooden fire escapes. News at 11 from Chopper 4. Live coverage, live feed, live wire. News as it happens. You are joining our broadcast as shock treatment is started at Highland Hospital in Oakland, California. They have taken the tongs from the solution and now, applying them to her scalp. Looks like they did not have enough time to remove the bobby pins from her hair or teach the orderlies about conductivity. I think I can see in the corner of the room the lid to a bottle of liquor. And yes, that is sticking out of the pocket of the orderly that is tightening the straps, perhaps a bit too tight. Yes, the straps are too tight. Her fingers really should not be turning purple that quickly. And it appears that he is still thirsty as he's licking his lips, perhaps a bit too close to her face. And that cannot smell that good to her. Old Potero single malt spirit bottled in San Francisco does smell good fresh and goes down smooth. Founded in 1896, that's Old Potero single malt spirit, aged in caskets of smoked oak wood right here in Oakland for at least 2 years. Which I believe is how long this young woman has been incarcerated. And yes, that is smoke I'm smelling curling up around her dyed black flapper hair. And it does have a distinct odor when it catches fire, somewhere between formaldehyde and mulberries. Looks like the orderlies have panicked and are jumping back. The one who was trying to rape her is clutching the sides of his head with his hands and is crying. And just before his eyes rolled into the back of his head, they did look like they were dilated. The other one has knocked over a pressurized container of oxygen and fled the room. The top of the container appears to be hissing and rattling under the screams of abject horror of the young lady, whose hospital bed cover is melted off and over said squealing time bomb. Let me read her expression for a moment here. There seems to be a mixolation of pain and relief. Very hard to read as the smoke begins to fill the room, and I did hear a snap. Is that an arm? No, yes, she has broken out of the straps. The metal buckles have fused to her arms, partially fused to her arms as she rips and leaves most of the back of her hospital gown and the flesh from the back of her legs as she dismounts the hospital bed. It does seem to come with her, though, as it turns over, being that one of her legs was still in the straps that has spun the valve open on the oxygen container, and the fact that her widening eyes shows is registered on this poor patient. And let's not forget what brought us this wonderful event, plastic hospital sheets, which you can get at vitalitymedical.com, which brings us the Hemingway Home Care Bed in a Bag for just a mere $38.46. The fine makers at Invacare also offer a 50-50 cotton blend set each includes a jersey-fitted knitted bottom sheet. Again, that's bed in a bag. Remember, it's not hemmed unless it's Hemingway. And let us also not forget this poor lady and see if she can escape ending up in a bag herself. That lady is crawling away across the ceramic floor is Zelda Fitzgerald. Each feeble attempt she's making almost as sad as her artistic career taking off, or her writing there left on the floor and her blood stained in pain and suffering, squandering attempts to write her book Caesar's Things. And with that, looks like the final whistle is going to blow in that pressurized oxygen container. She's scattered to the wind in a burst of flames. Did look like her last thoughts were of her husband, who died 8 years ago. There must have been a huge deluge of regret of not being able to attend that funeral in Rockville, Maryland. And that brings us to our final sponsor, REM, who brings us Don't Go Back to Rockville from their centennial album, Out of Time.
Okay, it's had that. This is odd because this is the first time you've ever actually appeared on this stage when I'm here, so I'm serious like a heart attack. You need a hand getting up here, man? No. Okay. You heard me describe this earlier, right? Just checking. Sam. Shroggy? Yes! I was messing with Chris earlier because he was looking over at me like, how's the set going? And I'm sitting there going, Shroggy, Shroggy, Shroggy. We've had a lot of poets and storytellers, and I don't know the fuck Mikey does. Yeah.
We just call it Mike.
Yeah, we call it Mikey, and that's pretty much about it. Sam is our first ever, I would actually use the term, and you'll laugh when I do, but legitimate stand-up. He was suggested by a couple of other associates within the Samurai. We immediately said, okay, let's check him out, and then he immediately killed us all stone dead. My favorite example of this was I missed his first audition. His second audition was we had kind of a traditional Sunday gathering at a coffee shop, and we were all doing our level best to keep a straight face while he was doing his material, because we were all going to be like the hard ass, checking out his material. Like, yeah, we're serious spoken word artists. What you got, stand up, boy? And within about 2 minutes, that whole veneer of cool collapsed. So, ladies and gentlemen, Sam Shroggy.
We're not going through this again. Everybody with me? Shroggy. Thank you. Oh.
That's the internet.
I'm using my other senses.
See, he's banging the internet too.
We have a thing for banging the internet.
I know.
We'll get to the sexy stuff later, but for right now. My name is Sam. I'm a comedian. I am blind, and I really got to pee right now, so I'm going to see what I can do about this. I am 93%. I'm 93%.
We can see you pee.
We're a rough crowd, man.
Moving on. My name is Sam. I am a blind stand-up comedian. I am 93% blind. I have night blindness. I have tunnel vision, which means I only see in the middle. And then I'm also colorblind, which means I can't see black people, so no good for me. What's it like being a blind guy? Well, I think a lot of people have a lot of plans for certain things, like zombie apocalypse, Halloween, everything. But I don't have a plan for the zombie apocalypse. I don't really see the point. I mean, most of us can't get to the bank before it closes, right? But there's about 4 or 5 people in this room right now that know exactly what they're going to do if there happen to be rampaging mutant cannibals roaming outside our doors right now. But for me, I'm fucked. I mean, society will crumble, civilization's going to be obsolete, and I'll be the only guy standing in the middle of the street going, where'd everybody go? It's quiet. Nobody's going to let me into their fortress of survivors. Anybody really going to trust me to watch their fucking back for zombies? You want to give me a gun? You really? Yeah, no. Oh, we're good into that. Don't worry. You want to give me a gun? Really? Oh my God, he's over there. He's to the left. My left. You shot me. I just recently broke up with an ex-girlfriend recently. Yeah, well, she was learning sign language. And you know, with any other guy, you know, that'd be fine, but in that relationship, that's just fucking inexcusable. I think she was banging a deaf guy, I really do. And I would get jealous, but those fuckers can't drive either. I'm not a fan of black, I almost said black people. I was gonna say deaf, then I was gonna go blind, and I would just race car.
Blind, keep left, something, some combination there.
So I'm actually new to the Samurai. I've been hanging out with the people very recently. It's been a lot of fun. And I don't think it should be called the Samurai spoken word. I think it should be called the Samurai of Epic Beards, because I don't think there's any guy in here that doesn't have any kind of facial hair, do they? Yeah.
What about the chicks? Dude, I shaved for this.
I am a samurai. This is my sword. It's my beat dude blind stick. So you're hanging out. I'll tell some stories here. The breakup was not pretty. I'll say that. We went to Nebraska, and that was fun. Now, Marla and I had been hanging out for a while, and she didn't like that. And I was feeling bad about it, so I do this thing where, when I feel guilt, I just go up to people and sarcastically say, dude, just punch me in the face. Remember this, for this will come back to haunt me. So, needless to say, she finds out about it, and I'm standing in my kitchen, drinking wine, because that's what I do with my free time. She opens the door, comes running in the kitchen, and punches me in the face! She punched a blind man in the face, and then kneed him in the balls. Angry, right?
He was angry.
There's been a lot of punching in the face, hasn't there? Yes. The first time, actually it was just this Sunday, we were at the coffee shop and we were giving hugs to everybody. Went up to Dave and said, hug it out, bitch. Gave him a hug. Went up to Shelby, hug it out, and I punched Marlo in the face! It's a very back and forth thing, isn't it? Because, well, she twisted her ankle last night because we were walking to go get cigarettes because we were drunk, and apparently that's what we both do with our free time. Found out shoes don't have traction, do they? No, they don't. So she fell down, twisted her ankle. Next day I stepped on it. So I grabbed her hand and made her punch me in the face! Tell some stories here. My last relationship did not, we'll say it was, I went to the gynecologist with her, okay? Here's an idea, guys, don't fucking do that! Started off with a breast exam, which is basically this for 5 minutes.
Where is she going?
And why? Why would I go to the gynecologist with my significant other? Well, she wanted to know, and this is a little personal, but we're broken up now, so I'll say it. She wanted to know, and this is a little bit personal, but she wanted to know why sex hurt for her sometimes. And I tried to console her, and I tried to tell her that it was because of my monster cock, but no! She's like, I want to see an expert with years of experience. I'm like, this bitch has been a doctor for 2 years, and I've had this dick for 2 decades. Who's the expert now? I'm pretty sure she was a lesbian too, because she had like this really butchy haircut and like no wedding ring, and she was breathing harder than my girl was when she said, I'm going to stick 2 fingers inside you. And right before I came, she pulled out this thing, and I'm not quite sure what this thing was, but it was a fucking like thing. It was like big and pointy and sharp, and it was metal, and it looked like a cross between like a vice and the jaws of life. I have no idea what it was. A speculum?
Yes. We all know that thing.
Of course you do. I didn't know what it was,
Horrifying.
but it was hot. It was 7% hot for me. No, I'm sad. I think sex in a relationship is actually very important. I think it plays its role. But it saddens me to see people, use it to get at each other. I think that's really sad. I think it's a wonderful expression of human emotion and everything. It's also a lot of fun. I think sex is in a relationship. I would compare it to chess, not really due to the strategic value of it, but more like guys are the kings, all right? Guys, the big, tall, strong, important, king castle, head honcho, big taco. I'm just making shit up now. Pussy ass only moving 1 space, little ass king. And ladies, you're the queens. And guys don't want to lose their queens, because if you do, then you're stuck in the back row playing with your pawns and stroking your rooks all night long. And that leaves you with the bishop, and the only action you're going to get from a bishop is if you're 12 and Catholic. Strike one, Blanco. All right. I don't want kids. I desperately don't want kids. Casey Anthony would trounce me as a parental figure. And I'm a very logical person, and so the kid's going to get, I'm not going to lie to a kid. I think that they need to be educated. I don't think that you should lie to children. But I'm a little cold-hearted. The kid's going to get different explanations for things, right? Like, Daddy, how's a black hole work? All right, listen up, you little shit. A black hole is a supermassive cluster of matter the size of an atom called the singularity, whose gravity is such that not even photons of light can escape. Okay. Mommy, how's a black hole work? Magic. I don't want my kids to believe in like Easter Bunny or Santa Claus or any of that stuff. Daddy, look, the tooth fairy left a nickel under my pillow. I'm just, okay, all right, the tooth fairy doesn't exist. Daddy left that nickel under your pillow. One, Mommy put me up to it, and two, well, Daddy's broke. Here's a life lesson for you, little bozo. The economy's a bitch right now. Get used to it. Daddy, look, Santa Claus left all the Christmas presents under the tree. I hope I don't get any cold. I'm just like, all right, Santa Claus isn't real. Mommy put all those Christmas presents under the tree. One, because she has a job, and two, well, Daddy's broke. Daddy, look! Easter Bunny left me a basket full of candy in the backyard! There we go. All right, I'm getting sick of this. Okay, the Easter Bunny isn't real either. The magical bunny running around leaving plastic eggs and chocolate in a basket in the backyard. What are you, gay? Been hanging around Uncle Ben too much, haven't you? What else can I talk about? I just moved into my new house recently. I'm broke, okay? I think you realize this. I'm broke as a joke, and the joke ain't funny at this point. Just recently moved into my new place, and I'm slowly decorating, room by room, kitchen, attic, basement, ceiling. I'm running out of money for food. I feel like I'm playing The Sims on hard mode, you know what I mean? And this right here is like level 1 of the entertainment career path, because again, I'm fucking broke. And that's what I'll do. I'll play The Sims now. The Sim City when I am mayor, and Modern Warfare 3 when I'm president. Then after Duke Nukem Russia Forever, I'll play Grand Theft Auto after the Fallout 3, and then I'll play Batman because Batman's awesome. There ain't no fucking Daredevil game, we all know that. Wouldn't make a very good superhero though. I'd be playing Dead Space and be Left 4 Dead in no time. You guys getting sick of these puns yet? I got more. Yeah, it just went over Princess Peachily, didn't it? Yeah. You see what I did there? I didn't. Oh. Let's see here. What can I tell you about now? Recently I went to Deadwood, South Dakota. Deadwood, South Dakota is it's like an old style Western gambling hub in South Dakota. It's like Vegas with a banjo, you know what I mean? So every single time you win, you're like, jackpot!
That sounds like a guitar.
Well, yeah. Deadwood. It's a big gambling hub, and I don't gamble. I don't gamble because I see it as basically the equivalent of finding your dealer of choice and swaggering up to that blackjack table and looking that dealer in the eye and bending over and saying, hit it. Hit it again. One more time. Oh, fuck, I busted. Yeah, here's what I do, guys. Don't go gambling with someone when you're broke because you've basically been demoted from potential millionaire to, go take this, give me a drink. Yes, dear. Oh. We checked out the Crazy Horse Monument. That was very educational. A lot of people have heard of Crazy Horse, the Native American war chief, but not a lot of people have heard about his lesser-known cousins, Insane Eagle. That's a good one. Whack-jawed Buffalo. And, of course, Bat-shit Bat. It was very educational, but walking through the museum and listening to the commentaries and learning about all this stuff, I began to hate white people. Like, the monument is 70 years old, right? And it's basically Crazy Horse perched on his steed, kind of like pointing like that, which is stupid because it's a bunch of white people carving into it, so he should be pointing like that. I'm not sure that's exactly how this Native American war chief wanted to be remembered. After pillaging his villages and killing his men and raping his women, I'm sure he'd be thrilled to see the white man blowing his face in the mountainsides and fucking... I hate white people. And of course, we all killed off all the buffalo, which is a real shame because bison is way too delicious to go extinct. What do we got here left here? Okay. Have you guys ever gone lingerie shopping with your girls? That's fun, isn't it? Marlo took me. I think it was just a really cruel joke. Lingerie shopping, and her friend works at Victoria's Secret, right? And she's, she's one of these very, very pretty. I mean, Blonde hair, blue-eyed, great figure. I mean, textbook fucking definition of hot, right? And don't get me wrong, Marla's a beautiful person, but her roommate is hot. Hot, like you could scramble an egg on that ass. Hot.
Need a minute?
I need a minute.
In your bum.
Water, please. It's not actually water, it's vodka on the rocks. So anyway, so there we were. 9 o'clock, Victoria's Secret. The store's already closed. The doors are closed. There's no one else in the store except for me, Marla, and a roommate. Oh, I was crossing everything, man. Fingers, toes, eyes, testicles. I was fucking praying, and then finally, nothing happened. It would have been perfect, too. We were having one of these fuck nights, right? You know what I mean? A fuck night. And here's one thing that I've learned, after a while, sex will slow down, but every once in a while you two pull out your calendars and you say September 22nd, we're going to fuck like rabbits, and we're going to have all the wild and crazy sex, the kind of sex that gets the cops called, you know what I mean? Yeah. The kind of sex that makes the house smell like Astroglide for a week. The kind of sex where you go to the store next day and buy a gallon of bleach for sanitation purposes. The kind of sex that alienates your mother. Strike two, blonde guy. And the kind of sex that scares mice away. The kind of sex where you look at each other the next day and you say, how the hell did we break that kitchen sink? Like, we didn't even fucking go in there, man. Don't mess with circus people, kid. I think that it's great that we're working for charities. I'm very proud to be part of a charity for the Red Cross. I think that's an excellent cause, and I've actually started my own charity. It's called the Broke Blind Guy Foundation. Money goes to a good cause, pot, booze, and cigarettes. It's not tax deductible or anything, but for every $10 donation, I'll tell you a joke, so that's pretty good, right? No? Okay. How about every $10 donation, I'll buy you a drink from the bar. How about that? Yeah, just a beer, not a mixed drink or a shot. Fuck you, people. I'll tell you a little bit about my family, just so you know how successful I'm not. My sister, 6 years older than me, just recently had our first nephew of the family, so our family's kind of a buzz about that. And she's a really good parent. I would never say that she isn't a great parent. I'd be afraid she might start shaking me. But she doesn't like post the pictures of the kids on Facebook or anything. It's not like the kid's Anne Frank or anything, right? Oh, 70 years too soon? Let's see, my other sister, 10 years older than me, graduated in 4 years with a master's degree in business from a private university with a 4.0 GPA. Thanks for fucking it up for the rest of us, sis. And apparently financial security isn't genetic, but my blindness is. Shameless. My brother is a history teacher and an Iraqi war veteran. I, on the other hand, failed Western civilization, not even qualified for the draft. Which might sound like a bad thing, but then again, do you really want me in the military? On my jackass! He's one of these parents that have an impact on their kids, and I think that's what this country needs. I think that we need educators that are passionate and actually care about their students, and actually care about equipping them with skills that they need in life, rather than just an assembly line of GPAs. I think that's wrong. I think that's false. And he's one of these teachers that actually cares about his kids, which is great. And I know that he cares about his students because on the last day of school, he walked into his empty classroom to a plate of cookies and a note from a couple of his students, and it said, paraphrasing, "Dear Mr. Shraggy, thank you so much for being such an awesome teacher, and in appreciation, we baked you these plate of cookies. We would have bought you scotch, but we would have gone suspended." I'm like, oh, that's sweet. How does that make you feel? He's like, I can't teach these fucking kids anything. I hate scotch. I think I'm going to do a couple more jokes for you. Why do blind people go to gynecology school?
Why?
So they can learn how to read lips. I got more. A blind guy walks into the pizza shop one night. He's got a sing eye dog with him. Walks up to the bartender, picks him up, starts swinging him around. Bartender says, "Hey, what the hell are you doing?" He says, "Oh, I'm just looking around." Still shameless, people. Why do blind people skydive?
Why? Why?
Scares the shit out of the dogs. I'm glad we're not doing any benefits for PETA, huh? Thanks, guys.
Yeah, did I mention the part where whenever you have that moment of feeling uncomfortable with somebody who has a handicap or a disability, yeah, that lasted about 30, 45 seconds, I don't know. And we were kind of past that real fucking quick. Our next victim, Taryn. As I said, we have our spotlight shows. And at the spotlight shows, at about 7 o'clock in the evening, there's an open mic night. And we have been pillaging their talent relentlessly every opportunity that we get, looking around, because there's like about 3 or 4 people that'll show up and they're really good, and you've got, or reasonably good, and you've got one guy that shows up and he just stiffs, and then there's one person that stands out like that diamond that just needs to be cut and polished a little bit. And so this little, I don't know, I'm going to go with cherub just because it's not true. Walked up and pretty much knocked my socks off, and a couple other people as well. And as she was walking off stage, I was standing right there, and she was kind of like, I just finished my first time on stage, I'm walking away. And she's kind of like looking as she goes along, and I'm like, hey kid, come here. And she quite wisely said, oh, how about no?
Let's go and offer some candy. We've gone over it.
Yeah, I have to kind of keep an eye out for that. Sometimes I just give off the wrong impression. Maybe sometimes the right one. So then I sent Shelby over there to speak to her, and that worked out much better. And so with that, she decided to actually kind of trust us for the opportunity to come up on stage and take a swing at it. I don't quite know how to define what it is that she does. I'll let her do that for me. But I will refer to her instead as Taryn Kleckner.
Okay. Hi, I'm Taryn. I've been writing for as long as I can remember, and I've been writing for about as long as I can remember, and it didn't really become a passion for me until things started going wrong in my life. And then I was just like, yeah, outlet, I can kill everybody when I write, and I don't really have to do it, so I don't gotta suffer the consequences, whatever. Recently I wrote this poem about myself and about how very cowardice I was, because, as they said, the first time they saw me, that was my first time on stage, and I'd been writing for 5 years before that. And so this is about me overcoming myself. And it's called You, the Living Dream. And it goes, you. Sitting there silent in the audience again, picking up the pieces of a promise broken that you'd get the fuck up on stage this time. Weak smile on your face, loving what you're hearing, but regretting what it is you're not letting yourself say. Coward. With emerald eyes and violet hair, violet as a night, too sinful to be left bare. Yet, you're still just sitting there. The mic is open, right there, right. You are capable of carrying your own body weight, so get up. You, sitting there surrounded by something, pretending you're too broken to extend your arm to grab it, envious of your own dream. It seems these days you act like you're a dying breed, standing in the mirror convincing yourself you're of no worth. You cause your own pain, you very ignorant girl. Letting your life pass by while you sit on the bleachers staring blankly at the teachers who have become computer screens. Listening to their convincing lectures about shooting for the moon because if you miss, you'll land on the stars, and that's your cannon's fault because it misfired. You're coexisting in your own dream. You're supposed to be directing. The mic is still open. In the chair, you stay chained. Are you seriously joking me right now? Come on. You. Staring down the barrel of a gun your dad tried to teach you how to shoot years ago. Lining up the casket, now conceived as an empty stage, where you'll bury your dreams empty. Lining up the vision of yourself standing there performing in the crosshairs. Not enough strength to hold yourself upright in front of a mic, but enough conviction to pull the trigger. Blow the already non-existent life out of your dreams. Seems I need to repeat myself. You, coward, in the audience still sitting, I took your mic. I'm your dream living. Thanks for shooting me in the heart. I walk away from the mirror seeing who I've become. A coward standing before you, bleeding bullet lodged in my chest, covered up in vain, hiding from sheer embarrassment. Flipping off the world with a gun in the corner staring at myself in the audience, or at least a memory, a vision of a young girl too cowardice to perceive she was good enough for her own dreams broken. Yet somehow here I stand. That's gonna fall. Okay, this next piece I wrote on the 10th. I stayed up till about 3 in the morning Google searching, and that's what I do with my life. And when it gets to be 3 in the morning, I don't quite remember what exactly I put in the search bar, but for some reason, I was looking up like circus stuff, and I don't know, and I switched it over to images, and there's this picture, and let me just lay this out for you. There's this picture of this girl, and she's in one of the rings, and I'm assuming that means 3 ring. So she's laying there in a clown costume, and she's flinching. And there's an audience on this half of the room, and there's nobody on this half of the room, and there's this guy in front of her, and he has his hand like this, and you just know he's about ready to swing because she's not doing what she's supposed to be doing. So I wrote this after staring at this picture for probably like 5 hours. That's probably not true. This is called 3-Ring Circus. It's starting again. The sick, twisted game you play with my mind, I'm falling again. Only seconds after I forced myself to say goodbye. 'Cause I see so much potential shining through your attitude it hurts. Yet you smile every time you see me flinch away. You raise your hand and I obey, you have me tainted. To the outside world, that's abuse. To us, though, that's just fun and games. Maybe I like being hit just a little too much. Maybe it's pleasurable for your hands to be around my throat, only removing the pressure when I finally start choking. I'm not joking anymore. Yet I must like it because I have to be forced out the door, and even then I come back for more. It's a 3-ring circus. Circumstance is the ringleader. We are just dancers for show. We are loving, and the lights go pink and purple and red, and it is beautiful like trapeze on tightrope. I look into your eyes and I fall again. Whispered, I love yous for the audience to tread over. We are fighting, and the light around us goes white, and over the audience it goes crimson, screaming out profanities like fuck you and I hate you, and thinking of ourselves in our own vanities. I need you because I truly love you. What I know you can be. Yet, it seems like you love me because you can still shape me into what you want, to fill the blank spots when you don't feel loved by anyone else, and that makes me Miss Perfect. The audience take a sharp intake of breath, only I forgot. We were always secrets, so there never really was an audience. The circus was only an act in my mind, a lingering thought in yours. I'm addicted to the prison you've convinced me to trap myself in. I never want to leave. You stand guard in my cell, and I watched you put the key on my tongue, and I felt myself swallow it. This is bizarre. I am in hell, seeing it as heaven. I'm too attached to ever let it go, but one day, borrowing words from the amazing Charles Bukowski, who I have only just recently learned about, I will realize, without you, I am nothing. But with you, I am even less. This next piece I wrote in October, and I am a very October person. I love Halloween. I love that we can get away with dressing up like whatever we want to in October, and you can't look at us like we're weird because it's October. I was sitting there one night, and the way my mind works, it just kind of lingers, and this is what I came up with, and it's called Bag of Bones. You ever wonder what happens when life wears down? When the skin fades away, leaving bones in the ground. Bones that seem to smile all the time. Surrounded by life teasing and taunting with its subtle intake of breath, when your breath becomes the wind, singing becomes the rain, there's nothing left to fill. You're finally free of humanly pains, and wouldn't that be amazing? You ever wonder what happens when you're a pile of bones, knees like skipping stones, setting yourself free? You can't tell where you are, hoping you're not in a coffin as cool as they were in life. You knew you never much liked being contained in boxes. What do you think happens at the end of the day? When there's no marrow left in sight, no vision of any stars in the sky, when you're a bag of bones, knowing the leaves as a love song, warmth as a hug, never knowing grief or agony, jawbone tired, because in death, seems all you do is smile these days. With your loved ones still skipping and running around, you're only connected to their emotions when the ground around you shakes. You'll know something is hard in them. When the rainwater seeps through the ground, flooding your going home, you'll know something is soft in them. Your senses fail you while you come to a new understanding of life, but then you're not living. It's irony, you're dead and decaying, adapting to what I guess can only be defined as immortality. As a bag of bones, 6 feet under, calm as a hurricane, happy as the maggots making homes out of your eye sockets, eternity left singing with the rain. This next piece I wrote for a friend who I used to see, kind of, sort of, and she came up to me one day and she goes, "Jess, I think I'm pregnant, and I don't know what to do." And so I put myself in her position trying to help her out, and ended up writing this for her, but in the same place for myself. It's hard to explain, but it's called "Do You Even Exist?" and it goes like this. Take away the distance, drown out all the noise. Substitute, my vision, this sickness needs to void. Strip away my voice and peel away my flesh. Darkness lurks upon me, though I'm not afraid of death. In hollow, decaying hallways drenched in fair crimson blood, the slaughter had been delicate in dedication of my love. You deserve much better, so I set you free to soar above. My gift, I don't resent you, nor did I dread the thought of keeping my little precious dove. Please understand that I'm not ready if you're truly even there. Know that I do this only because I care. I know I'll forever love you. And I hope my love you can feel. I've always hated abortion, yet here I sit considering I don't even know if you exist. No offense, but I hope you don't. But if you don't, explain the dreams. Explain why I'm so late. Explain when my chest is getting more sensitive. I always thought my first would be a part of a stable family, a we, but no. Abortion is out of the question. I'd rather kill myself than you. If you exist, you're growing inside me. That thought would forever make me blue. Then there's adoption, and that could be okay. You'd live with another family, and maybe someday we'd meet again. I won't just love you for a little while. I love you for always, and even after then. But how do I part with you after bonding for 9 months? You probably don't even exist, but it's possible, so I have to consider that you must. My own body I can't even trust. But what if I kept you? Raised you on the run, would you grow to hate me? Right now you're so close, but yet I can't feel you at all. This guilt weighs a ton. These questions driving me wild. Are you here? Do you exist? Am I even ready for a child? Or not. That works. Love you too. So this next piece that I'm going to read to you, I was a little hesitant to read. It is not by me. It is by a lovely girl named Alicia Harris, and I found her on YouTube, and she is a part of a group called Strivers Row, and they are based out of New York City. I can relate to this piece so much, and I've read it so many times that I almost have it memorized, and I can't even memorize any of my own pieces. So I'm like, okay, well, I need to share this with everybody because I can't just sit here and share it with people in my house because they've heard it 15,000 times. And so this is called That Girl. It is by Alicia Harris from the Shriver's Row. We got that waiting in the clinic silence, that shh, don't tell nobody what we did silence. And I'm so tired of being your hamper that I'm about to dump out these week-old ketchup-stained secrets and do laundry in that silence. You like keeping it quiet. But my vagina is not your walk-in closet. You want to stuff your unmentionables through me, want a place to hang up your insecurities, want me to keep check of your hand-me-downs and Prada, waiting for every occasion to put me back behind closed doors and lock me in the darkness. Nobody knows you hold my hand, and nobody knows you call me baby, and nobody knows you write anonymous poems about me, the type you can't post on Facebook because, regardless of what you may think I'm worth, or what you may think I deserve, I will never be that girl. The girl that's only allowed to make you smile when she's making you orgasm. That girl whose day job is daydreaming waiting for her night job. That girl who's so in love she'll turn her body over for your superficial touch. You hide me behind locked doors and bed sheets because if you dare reach out, then everybody would know it was about me, that in your heart and your mind you're still wrapped up in me. My heartstrings, you got them tied around your pencils and figures. Yeah, you may say it's over, and you may never say that you love me, but you don't have to, because the silence speaks volumes. You want to hold me in your arms and rock me to sleep, then act like you don't know me. As if the moments we spent together are some kind of down payment, as if my bedroom were layaway, and all you ever do is lay away, roll up beside me, but in the morning pull up the hoodie and run the other way. I'm like that bastard child, the reason Daddy never stuck around in the first place. Because for me, rejection doesn't come every other weekend. It comes when you lower your head and pass by without speaking, and I remember there was a time you could barely take your eyes off me. I just don't understand why it's not okay for you to love me. I guess you just want me to be that girl, the girl everyone wants to sleep with, but nobody wants to be with. That girl who's only good enough to find a suitable replacement and not trying to make up for your mistakes, but you try to convince yourself that she means everything and you want nothing to do with me, but come on, baby, she looks just like me. Read the signs, or at least not the facial features, because I was your first. You're only the prototype and she's just a duplicate, and you can never make copies without first consulting the blueprint. You know what they say, that the sequel is never better than the original, and she tries to write you stories, but they're only half as good. So off squinting, you only hold her half as tight as you should. Because your other half is tangled between my bed sheets, and your other half is complete within my mind, soul, and body, and the other half is French tonguing me Monday through Friday. I'm not fighting for joint custody, I'm fighting for respect. Because I will never be content with being your backdoor hoe. You're something on the side. You're something to do on those lonely nights. You're closet freak. You will never reduce me to a skate or a whore that will love you. I'd rather spend every night crying alone on my bedroom floor than to ever be that girl. Okay, this last piece that I'm going to read for you is called Cow. I'm not so sure why it's called Cow. I think it's because somewhere along the lines I start talking about milk. And yeah, so when I was little, my dad was with this really weird person, and she was very jealous of me is the way I like to put it, because I got more attention from my father than she did, and that wasn't okay. And so whenever they would have people over, I can always remember being told to go to my room because I was open and I've always been like this, and I was never really contained to what they wanted me to be, and I would never really conform to what they wanted me, so they sent the embarrassment away. So this is about a friend I had at the time. His name was Tracy, and he would come over and make me feel like I was okay while I was being hidden from the rest of the world. The lights dim down in the room surrounding me. Laughter rises from the hall, inviting emotions I was never allowed to be a part of. She knocks on the door again, inviting me into her world. where I'll never really be good enough to enter, so I stay content in my own world, which is basically just the body, keeping my soul entrapped. This room is just a chamber where I'm sent, so they don't have to suffer the embarrassment. I giggle as he climbs through the window again. My knight come to rescue me, or at least make it so I'm not so alone. He wraps his saving arms around me, and I am home, content with the situation as it is now. My little body pushes the dresser in front of the door so they can't interrupt the peace I have created. Minutes turn into hours with you. I don't feel like I'm wearing 5 pounds of face paint or in a clown suit anymore. She knocks on the door again. Baby, you know I love you, right? You can come hang out. There's still plenty of hours in the night. I mean, I don't know why you hide yourself in there. You're embarrassed of me. What do you want me to do? He frowns, seeing it's his time to go because she won't leave good enough alone. As he's climbing out the window from which he entered, the door slams open, leaving nothing but scattered remnants of comfort, knocking over the dresser, and all its contents go toppling to the floor. Now she's just embarrassing herself, as she takes me from serenity to painstaking laughter and jokes, and I swear if they had tomatoes, they would throw them at me. Nothing is more ridiculous than pretending to be someone you're not. I see his smile coming from the back window of the room she dragged me to, and it gives me hope for some sort of renewed foundation. 1 more year and I'll be gone, I tell myself, or at least the plan for now. Because I'm done being looked at as a cow who can just shut down and produce milk whenever someone needs it, because a fake frown is tiring, and when it comes to milk, I'm out.
So yeah, like I said about me and that poetry thing, yeah. Somehow it's not going to work, the timing, I think. We will take an intermission. Give us about 10 minutes. Go out, grab a drink, drop some money into the pitcher over there for the American Red Cross. Do whatever you need to do, but please be back here in about 10 minutes.